Hey y'all, Sister Modupe, Raw Vegan Soul Food Show. Well, thank you for joining me today. You know what's up, right? Education, sharing, getting creative, understanding how to take care of this body, emotions, our mental capacities, spirit, all of it, right? That's being nutritionally optimized from your head to your toes, okay? Well, today, we're going to talk about something in the middle. We're going to talk about your gut, your digestive system. And whoo, man, I know a lot of people out there, you take it for granted. It is so important. Why do you think it's in the center, right? You put your arms, your legs, it's center. It is like your CPU almost, okay? I know you have your brain and it does the processing, but this is a processing factory too, right? Processing all that you eat so that you can utilize what you put in here, okay? And it's very, very important. But today's show, you know, we're here to be optimally nourished, nutritionally optimized. Today's show is about understanding all that piping. And you know that did you know your intestinal tract is like 3 times or more your height? Many, it's just like feet and feet and feet and feet of your height. It's not a short intestinal tract like a lion or a tiger, a meat eater. It's long like a horse's or an elephant, because that plant material that we eat takes a long time. It needs a long way to go to be broken down, digested, so that we can use it. Yes, our intestinal digestive system is much more similar to a horse or a elephant than a lion or a tiger, because we're supposed to be doing that plant-based, right? That plant-based nourishment. Okay, so I got some slides today for you, some internet links, and so put on your learning thinking cap, because we finna go for a ride. You heard the drums, right? That means come on in, sit down, pay attention, and grow. So let's go to that first link. Today's, and you know I have to bring an authority in, right? So that you don't just say, well, she's just saying that. Remember, I'm the messenger, so don't jump on me. This is the National Institute of Diabetes and Digestive and Kidney Diseases, okay? So let's see what they talk about your digestive system. It is a system that takes care, well, first of all, starts in your mouth, yes, and it ends at the you-know-where, okay? It's like a highway on a map, or that expressway that you take to go, say, from here to San Diego. It's like a pipeline, it's a road, and it's a lot that happens on that road, okay? You got to understand it so that you can not get in its way, so that it can do a good job. All right, so it's also called, it's the digestive or gastrointestinal tract, the GI tract. You hear about GI doctors, okay, that's their specialty. And it involves the digestive tract, the whole digestive system is the digestive tract, the pancreas, and the gallbladder, okay? There's some other names for parts of it, like you got the small intestine, you have the large intestine, but we're going to learn about what they all each do. So there's the organs that I just mentioned. And then if you look in there, in this, we'll go down here looking at this, it'll tell you that it is controlled by hormones and the nerves. Hormones and nerves. So let's stop right there. If you're nervous, you have a lot of anxiety, stuff going on in your life, do you think that's the time to be trying to eat a big meal? Because your nerves are going to be, your body's going to be focused on trying to help you get through that crisis. And digestion takes a lot of blood and focus of the body for that system to operate properly. So you see in this diagram here, you see from the mouth all the way to the rectum, that whole system there, and the things along the way, everything from the liver to the, as I mentioned before, the large and small intestine and the pancreas, the stomach, etc., etc. Well, it's about one thing I really liked about this particular link in understanding the digestive system. If we look down a little further, they actually have a chart They go through why is digestion important. We understand, right? You that piece of broccoli or whatever you eat, your body can't use that as a whole. You have to have that broken down so that your body can use it. And look at the particular digestive juices that are used from your mouth to your liver. There's a particular chemical, good chemical, a liquid that is produced by your body to help with that breakdown of the material. And you'll notice different things get broken down in different places. Look at the stomach acid. That deals with the proteins. Look at the small intestine. Starches, protein, carbohydrates. You don't see fats there, do you? It says the pancreas deals with starches, fats, and protein also, pancreatic juices and things. One really big thing to understand from this is that your body is, for this system to do what it does, your body has to create hormones and nerves. Healthy nerves are what control this system. Okay, so let's just think for a moment. Is it statin drugs that reduces cholesterol in the body? Okay, let's just think. So if you mess with your hormones, with the cholesterol in your body, cholesterol is based on hormones, right? Okay, let me get it right. Your hormones are basically built up of cholesterol, right? Your hormones are based on cholesterol. That's like the basic building block for your hormones. And you're taking a drug that reduces and gets your body to hardly make any at all. Well, guess what's going to happen? You're not going to have part of what absolutely needs to help operate this system. That's a problem, okay? So understand that we want to understand the body better than you understand a checking account, better than you understand how your car operates, because if you're not here, you're not in good health, none of that matters, all right? So let's go to looking at the next link we have. We're going to keep moving through these links because I have some video I want to share with you. Oh, well, why is the digestive system so important? Well, I just mentioned that it breaks down those whole foods that you eat into components that your body can use. Different parts, different organs, different parts of the system are going to break down carbohydrates or the fats or the proteins, all those things that you need in the body so that it can help to build and repair the body and such. Now, one thing that this article points out, and I didn't want you to say I was just saying it, let's scroll down a little bit. There's a paragraph here where it says right there, healthy digestion cannot exist without water. So those of you who think that all you need to do is drink some energy drink every now and then, some soda, some coffee, some tea, that's not plain water. Your body has to break that down also. It needs water to help break that down. Healthy digestion cannot exist without water. Okay, so I know during the summer we got people fainting, not drinking enough water, people super constipated because they're not drinking enough water, but they're eating heavy foods, greasy foods, all of that kind of thing. And so if your food is not digested well, how are you going to get the things, the components that your body needs to build, repair, energize itself? That's not going to happen. Okay, you'll see here it also talks about things that can help you with digestion, things like probiotics. I know you hear a lot about probiotics and prebiotics. We're going to talk a little bit more about those later so I can explain those more. There's another list below this one I really want to take a look at. And that one is going to talk about tips to help strengthen your digestion, right? Because I don't want to sit here. We're not going to sit on this show and talk about problems. We're going to talk about solutions. We're going to understand, identify issues, challenges, and then we're going to understand how to overcome, deal with those challenges. So some of the things here I agree with really well. Now, I'm vegan, and so I'm not going to suggest you do dairy because you don't have to do dairy yogurt. You can find a yogurt that is not dairy based. It can be based on anything from almonds to coconut, okay? So things like that, though, are good. Things that are fermented, which yogurt is, okay? They also say here to help strengthen your digestion, eat some raw foods every day. Did you see that? That's not just me saying eat raw foods. They're saying that for a healthy digestive system, you got to eat some raw foods every day. You also want to eat small meals often. Don't go eating one huge meal in a day, because look what you've done. You've overwhelmed your system. It's not going to energize you. It's going to knock you out, and you need to stretch out that food input. And some people do. They are disciplined that they eat one meal a day, but it's madness to try and eat a huge meal. You haven't even been using the digestive system all day. You want to do that. That helps you have sustained energy and allows your systems in your body to work at a right pace, right? You don't want to overload them, like eat till your stomach's bursting or things like that. Okay. Other things like, let's see, avoid bread and pasta. A lot of people want to sit and eat a ton of bread, ton of pasta, then they wonder why they're constipated. I suggest not even eating those things. If you're going to eat them, you want them to be something that is not gluten, doesn't have gluten, which means what? Not wheat, not barley, not rye, not spelt or kamut. And it's even being suggested now not to even do the oats because they're just hard on our system. We don't have a system that has the tenacity of, say, a horse. They can sit and eat those grains and things all day, right? And plus, it's just too much food energy for the amount of physical activity we don't do. Okay? How many of you walking distances are going out and lifting or hauling or building or carrying things? Not many people. You're going in a car, on the bus, you're not going to carry anything. You even walk to, some people drive to their mailboxes, okay? So it's not that, that those are not foods that are good for us, because we just can't burn those calories. We're just not active enough to burn those calories. So let's go back and finish looking at that list. And then we're going to go on to our next one. Other things to help strengthen your digestive system: ginger, cinnamon, turmeric. You're hearing a lot about turmeric helping with anti-inflammation, things like that. It's best to do the turmeric fresh and with a little bit of black pepper, I've heard, is what really helps the body to synergistically deal with it. Cinnamon, if you're getting cinnamon, make sure you get true cinnamon. You want to get cinnamon that's grown in a country called Ceylon, Ceylon. That's the true cinnamon. And ginger. Ginger is very good for stimulating the digestive gastric juices in your stomach so that your food will digest really, really well. Eat fermented foods, things like sauerkraut, things like miso, things like tempeh. Those are foods, again, that are going to give you healthy bacteria, and the bacteria has worked on the foods so that it makes it easier to digest them. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the next link. And each one of these links has great information, a little bit different from they'll have some of the same information, but they'll have some new information one of the other links didn't. So I love to go through and find sources, links that are very, very helpful to you to understand so that you can make that move, take that action, so that you can be healthy and joyful. Now, I know that everybody knows somebody with some digestion disorders. You keep hearing about IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, colitis, Crohn's disease, allergies, asthma, acid reflux. Now, I know you know somebody with acid reflux. So many people have acid reflux problems. And why? Because they've either overtaxed their digestive system by eating the wrong combination of foods, eating at the wrong times of the day. Like your heaviest meal should not be in the evening and you're just sitting, or you're going to try and go to bed. All that stomach and food in your stomach is just going to sit there. Eating a lot of food after the sun goes down is not a good idea either, because believe it or not, the sun actually helps you digest your food. So during the winter months, when the days are shorter, you should be through eating your heaviest foods by 6 p.m. That's right, because the sun's going down. In the summertime, 8. You know, if you have to eat something after that amount of time, maybe you didn't get many calories in during the day or something, make sure it's something light. An excellent food, if you don't have any sugar, diabetes problems or whatever, is something like watermelon in the summertime. It's filling, it's light, it's easy for your body to digest, and it's very hydrating, okay? Remember, it's summertime. All right? So let's see what they say here. Again, I'm going to repeat it. Digestion is important because without it, we cannot receive our nourishment for overall well-being, right? You got to eat. The body requires energy to do everything it does, whether it's walking, whether it's repairing a bone you've broken, whatever, it needs it. But again, like I was saying, if your stress level, your anxiety level is high and such, that's going to affect your digestion. So whether it's emotional or environmental, or like they say, from dietary choices, it's going to be very hard on your digestion, which is then going to be hard on you. So let's go down a little further. And right here, it's talking a lot about how even our foods, even your food will put a hurting on your digestive system. Why? Because there's a lot of commercial foods that are so full of chemicals. They've been fried, dyed, laid to the side, like we used to say about hairstyles. And that means there's no nutrition in it. So now here your stomach, your body is trying to digest something it can't even recognize, and it's got all these clogging or toxic elements that come along with that. Number one, it's not even nutritious. Now all this other junk comes along with it. That really messes up your digestive system. So now we want to go down and look at what they talk about in terms of your immune system. Right here, stress and digestive issues affect your immune system. So you see people that have either ulcers or are always talking about their stomach hurts and stuff. You don't see them looking very joyful. A lot of times they can't be active, and it's necessary to be active to keep that body healthy. That helps with circulating your lymphatic system, your lymphatic fluids. It helps with keeping your blood strong, pumping, delivering nutrients throughout your body, okay? So remember, in the earlier I said that hormones are very, very important to your digestive system. I bet that's a new one for a lot of you. Did you know your hormones are very important to your digestive system? Nerves and hormones essentially control your digestive process. So if you're taking medications that interrupt or interfere with your hormones, or you're eating foods that have a lot of female hormones in them, yes, they pump those chickens and eggs, therefore become very full of female hormones. Beef cows, right? They're pumping those cows with hormones all the time. There are a lot of hormones in the milk from cows and such. Well, guess what? That affects the human body. You'll see men that look like they have, like they need a bra. That's a lot of female hormones that are going into the male body that is changing it, right? Women are becoming more masculinized by some of these hormones, or other things are happening. For example, a lot of women eating dairy, they're having fibroid issues. Well, doesn't that just make sense? You keep putting all these hormones in your body, well, your body's going to think that you're pregnant, or it's going to try and start growing another being. People don't realize that sometimes those fibroids, people don't want to believe me, you go check. Sometimes those fibroids they remove for women, they have teeth, they have hair, and all that kind of thing, because it's almost like another organism's trying to grow because you're pumping those hormones doing those hormones in the body. A lot of things like breast cancer and things like that, or prostate cancer. You've got to not put chemicals in the body that unbalance it. All these things need to remain in a certain balance so that you can stay healthy. Okay, let's look down a little further. And here, one thing I liked about this particular site is they talked about the fact that if you're feeling run down, nervous or anxious or irritable, but you need to eat, remember I said sometimes the best thing to do is either fast, just do water or something till that situation passes. But drink your nourishment. That's right, drink it. You know why? Because it's called, quote unquote, pre-digested. Because the blender has broken things down, essentially done what your teeth would do, okay? And so therefore now the body is ready to pass that along quickly through the stomach into the small intestine, where things are broken down and they start being distributed quickly and very easily, right? So the large intestine, a lot of people don't realize that the large intestine is just for storing waste, right? It just kind of holds that waste until it turns it in stool, essentially is sitting in the large intestine, waiting to exit the body. Now, when you think about somebody who has not had a bowel movement, now a lot of people eat 3-4 times or more a day. I hear about people who don't have a bowel movement for 3 days, once a week. Do you know how many meals are backed up in the body? And you're toxifying the body. You essentially are acting like a sewer. I tell people, look, you're either going to understand and learn how to send it to the sewer, or you're going to be the sewer, because you're sitting there with all of them toxins in the large intestine, and they're just going to retoxify the body. That stuff leaks out back into the body. Does that even sound like a healthy situation? I don't think so. And then check this out. Don't stare at anybody, but when you go out, next time you're out in the street, look at the people who have thin, really thin arms and legs, but they got a big belly. It looks like they might be 9 months pregnant. I am not just talking about females. Okay? Now, what can all of that be? If the arms and legs are very thin, or not huge like the belly area, what do you think that is sitting in the body? I heard that John Wayne and Elvis Presley, they both died with over 20, 30 or more pounds of essentially stool or feces in their large intestine. Yes, and Elvis Presley, it is said that he was found in his bathroom trying to push that material out, because, you know, constipation is not a comfortable thing. And what happens is that you put a lot of pressure on blood vessels, and you can burst a blood vessel, and then you will die, you know, if somebody doesn't get to you soon enough. You can also really tear the digestive system up by being constipated like that, and what they say, bust a gut. If you don't get to the hospital very quickly after that happens, you end up with all of that bacteria and such, bad bacteria, spreading through the body. You get essentially a blood infection, toxic blood. Well, obviously toxic blood, you're not going to be able to live on that very long, okay? So understanding the digestive system is of utmost importance, because it is of utmost importance to our living, to our longevity, to our longevity. And so we've got to understand how it works so we don't get in its way, and we supply it with the materials it needs to function well and serve us well. Now I got a couple videos, and so we're going to put on a man who is a pharmacist. He also puts together formulas and other products, but he works very well, very closely with Dr. Wallach. And so he's got some of that same understanding about how the body operates. And we're going to listen and watch. I'm going to interrupt him a few times. He's going to talk about the digestive system and some things connected to not having a healthy digestive system you probably didn't even think about. So let's get started.
Degenerative crisis is you work on the digestive system. There's two reasons for this. Number one, if the digestive system is compromised, stuff is going to get into the blood. Food particles are going to get into the blood. Bacteria will get into the blood. Bacterial outgassings will enter into the blood. You're going to initiate an inflammatory process, and this is going to make it difficult to recover. So for one thing, you want to correct digestive health issues because you want to prevent stuff from getting into the blood. But from a second reason why you want to work on the digestive system is because if you have a digestive system breakdown, you're not going to be absorbing your nutrients. So on the one hand, you're going to be getting toxicity. On the other hand, you're not going to be getting nutrients. So it's critical to focus on digestive health for all degenerative health issues, including AD, including Alzheimer's disease. That means, number one, a food diary, keep track of.
So did you hear what he said? How many of us realize that how closely our digestive system functioning well or not functioning well is connected to inflammatory diseases or illnesses, right? And essentially, anytime something is not operating right, 99% of the time, it's inflammation. It's either going to be inflamed and then be inflamed to the point it becomes an infection. So whether it's arthritis, whether it's Alzheimer's disease, he's calling it AD, whether it is inflammation in the heart or the kidney or whatever, when you have that kind of thing happening, it means that your digestive system is not being able to deliver the nutrients to keep that system strong and working well. And it might even be, your digestive system might be delivering toxins because you've been eating the wrong thing or eating the wrong way or combining the wrong foods, eating foods full of toxins, etc., etc. So how many of you understand that your arthritis condition is that connected to your digestive system, or Alzheimer's and such would be connected to your digestive system and such? So let's continue.
distress need to be eliminated, then strengthening the digestive system using fermented foods, using biolumin nightly essence, probiotics, using connective tissue builders like glucosamine and chondroitin, cartilage, bone soup. Anything that you could do that would build up your joints if you had arthritis is going to help build the digestive tract as well. Fucoidan, the Fucoid Z.
Okay, so now you heard him say, he mentioned foods that I don't eat. Some of you eat because everybody out there is not a vegan. So I find other sources and materials for those nutrients, okay? So I would suggest, though, that you listen very carefully to the products that he is mentioning. All the products he is mentioning are available from Longevity. If you go to my site, you can take a look at the rawvegansoulfood.com or rawvegansoulfoodshow.com, and you can take a look at the nutritional profiles for these different products and see how they're described, on how they focus on and help different parts of the body. But the one big thing that I love about the line of Longevity products, and you always see me sitting here drinking my tangy tangerine, is that when you give the body nutrition, not a pill, not some medication that they say is going to focus on one part of the body or something and break down another part, right? When you give the body nutritional therapies, the nutrition goes all over the body. It helps heal, repair, reset, rebalance the whole body. I love when we are able to work with someone, they have, say it's arthritis, and they say, well, you know what, my skin is clearing up too as I've been taking this stuff, right? Because it's nutrition. It has what the body needs to rebuild, repair, reset itself. It's not going to just go to the joint and say, I'm only going to work here. It's nutrition. It's whether it's the calcium, whether it's the vitamin C and all the other things that are in the formulas. The body needs those all over, no matter what's going on. And so sometimes we'll work with somebody and they say, well, my joints need rebuilding, or my stomach is not, I'm having digestive issues. And they'll take the products and they're saying, I had 2 other things that were a problem on my body and they're better, or they're gone. Those things are now gone. So remember, nutritional products that work to help the body have the resources, the materials, the nutrients they need, help the whole body, right? And they don't break anything down. They don't, let me repeat that, they don't break anything down. That's what a lot of the Western medicines do. They'll say, oh, well, we'll clear up that acne, but you may have suicidal thoughts, you might have a heart attack, you may have a stroke, da-da-da-da-da. Does that sound like madness? Don't fall for the madness. Okay, let's continue.
Contain polysaccharides that can help coat the digestive system. So building the digestive tract lining is very important because it will help eliminate toxicity from getting into the blood, which will slow down recovery and make the symptoms worse. And number 2, it'll help support nutrient absorption. The second step is working with blood sugar. Again, keep in mind, this is for any chronic degenerative crisis. You work with the blood sugar system. In terms of Alzheimer's disease, even physicians now call Alzheimer's disease type 3 diabetes, to highlight the relationship between what's called dysglycemia, or messed up blood sugar, and degenerative Alzheimer's disease degeneration. So working with the blood sugar system, that means 0 tolerance, or as close to it, for anything that breaks down rapidly into sugar, desserts and fruit juices.
Okay, now you heard him. Get rid of all them desserts and such. You want to get reset, rebalanced, you got to get rid of all those desserts and things like that, all that sugary stuff, but not just sugary stuff. Stuff like white potatoes. That stuff breaks down really fast. Rice. You give yourself at least a 90-day health challenge to rebalance, turn these things around, and understand how important the digestive system is to that process. Okay, let's take a look. We're running out of time. I don't have that much time left, so we're going to go to the next video we have there, and we're going to listen to that a little bit because he's got some good, important things to say.
Welcome to Critical Health News' weekly video Bright Bite with pharmacist Ben Fuchs.
Fuchs here. We're going to talk about probiotics today. Get a lot of letters about probiotics, and there's a lot of confusion about probiotics. Basically, one of the hallmark ideas of what I like to call the bright side philosophy, the things that we talk about on these in this series of videos, is that the gut controls everything. It's all about the digestive system when it comes to overall health. The gut controls, obviously, digestion. And when I say gut, by the way, I mean the intestine, the small intestine and the large intestine. The small intestine and the large intestine obviously control how we extract energy from food and how we process our foods, but they also control, the intestine and the gut also controls the immune system. It also has a role to play in skin health. It has a role to play in the health of the central nervous system, the brain, and it also has an important role to play in cardiovascular health and our blood pressure and how our heart works. But when we talk about how important the intestine is, what we have to understand is that the health of the intestine is itself dependent on bacteria that live there.
Whoa, did you hear that? Whew! How many of you always think bacteria is bad? Bacteria, there's good bacteria and there's bad bacteria. There's bacteria that will make you sick, and there's bacteria you cannot live without. You cannot live without a lot of different bacteria. Do you know our body is actually made up of more bacterial cells than cells, you want to say, that are really just our body? So it's very important that we understand that, and so we understand how to help those crucial bacteria take care of our bodies, right? So that means that we have to know what to feed it, what not to put in the body that would interrupt them in taking care of the body. Now, this particular segment is about probiotics. That means those are the substances that help us with eliminating what we've eaten, so we eliminate that which we can't use. Prebiotics help us to feed the good bacteria and help more so with digestion and such. So we're going to listen to a little bit more about what he's talking about, and let's go back.
In fact, there are more bacteria in our body, more bacterial cells in our body than there are human cells, which is kind of an interesting fact that our health is controlled, or the major control point of our health has nothing to do with us. It has to do with these bacteria. So if we're going to be healthy, we got to understand how to keep these bacteria healthy, the major, or at least a major control point of our digestive health and the health of our bodies. The way it's supposed to work is when a baby is born and comes out of the birth canal, that baby is coated with bacteria. That bacterial coating then enters into the baby's nostrils, into the baby's mouth, and those bacteria migrate down into the intestine, and then they implant in the intestine.
Now, isn't that intriguing? Do you hear that? He started talking about how important, and the reason he's talking about the baby, because we all once were babies, and there are many things that are set up that when we were children affect us through the rest of our lives, right? Just like they say, the great thing about babies nursing, having mother's milk, is that it helps to set up a strong immune system for us for the rest of our lives. So guess what we're going to do? That's part one. That's right, that's part one. So we're going to cut it off there for today, and part two will be next week's show. So thank you so much. We thank All in One Press Kit, and go take a look at rawvegansoulfoodshow.com. And you'll see a wonderful, wonderful website, a gateway to all the social media and everything. And so this is Sister Modupe saying, I love you, take care of yourself, come back, keep learning and growing with me, sharing about how to become nutritionally optimized. Sister Modupe signing off. Love you, peace and love.